It's very obvious the implication here is, even if they don't say it outright, because you can't say that in a children's game. That's not Von Karma. It's now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. The prosecution and the defense prepared. What is with this kid? Ahem, Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked because I'm a woman, correct? I am Franziska Von Karma, the prodigy. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Oh, is she upset that her daddy got defeated? Something of personal nature, I'm sure you can. I'm talking! If you interrupt again, my whip will do the speaking for me. And an entire fandom around one character was born. And honestly, rightfully so. We stand women's wrongs on this chat. We support women's wrongs. Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Those of the Von Karma bloodline have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant Maya Fey will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Your Honor. Yes. Foolish fool who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. The defense stands by its plea of not guilty, Your Honor. How foolish. If that's how you wish to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And I shall now call the first witness. We love her. She's the best. I can't say that when Edgeworth the prosecutor, but like, she's really up there. She's a very good prosecutor. I love her. We love Franziska Von Karma. She should have been in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like they intended to. Witness, your name and occupation. Yes, sir, my name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Ah! Get to the point! Explain to the court the details of this murder. I cannot do a strong woman voice like Von Karma. It's just I don't have it in me. You'll have to make do with what I can do. I'm gonna please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in this room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. Two witnesses broke the door down and rushed to the room. And that's when they found the victim was already dead, correct? I am not a voice actor. At least it's one of the most open and shut cases I've ever presided over. Are you sure, Your Honor? You sure? So how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time, then! Witness testimony! Cause of death! The Direct cause of death was the pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. Before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after stabbing. The victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. The court accepts into evidence, Mr. Wright. You may question the witness. Now, I do have an interesting question to ask.
Hold it!
The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have...
Objection!
Fun fact, by the way, the objection voice actors are all the localization team. And the objection here is from Janet Sue, who is the lead localizer of the American version of the game. So that was her voice. You know, 15 years ago. No, 20 years ago. Shit, Jesus Christ. No, was it 15? It's 1520, somewhere around that time. The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on the pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start. The fingerprints, along with the victims. The defendant, Maya Faye's, were also on the grip, sir. The defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I'm gonna hold off and press for a bit before I... How far away is that? They're between 10 to 20 inches away. Now you know he was shot at point-blank range. Mr. Phoenix Wright, I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country. Gunpowder burn. When something is shot from point-blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Gunpowder sweating is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. When he was shot, he was stabbed in the chest. Stabbed. And what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. It looked like it belongs to the Fays, sir. Of course, Maya Faye's fingerprints are all over it. Huh? Ha ha ha! What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Not enough to cause instantaneous death. How severe was the wound? If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have been hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. Oh, Onyx, you missed the unveiling of the new Von Karma. You know, the cute one. Use the pistol to finish the stabbing of... We just started the trial. We just got to the first trial. Listen, in this chat, we stand women's wrongs. So I will be on Francesca's side. The wounds and you come to the same conclusion too, pal. A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. He'll shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter, then, which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Okay, we have no contradictions. Victim was murdered. Brought the two murder weapons with me today. We're set these into evidence. Alright, we have new evidence. The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Our witnesses claim to have heard two gunshots at the time. Weapons both with defenses burnt on them, huh? This does seem like an open and shut case. Look at that adorable curtsy. Look at isn't that adorable? Naturally. From bad to worse. Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there? Mr. Wright? Yes? Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? The opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose. See, just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You would change your plea in less than 10 minutes. Will you change just the offense because now is the time to do so. This is your final chance. Not fucking guilty! To murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined and she'd be labeled a murderer. It's not how that works, but you know. Okay. Okay, go off, King. Your Honor. The defense will not change its plea. You will accept nothing short of a complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective. Present the final portion of your testimony, the final strike. Proceedings are run by... Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony. I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. Costume! As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Need evidence of the backspray of blood on this. He directly links Maya fate to the crime, sir. Alright. Let's break him. Aha! What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright. No, we're gonna cross-examine instead, actually, Francesca. We're gonna figure out what's wrong here. So we need more incriminating piece of evidence. Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier? You're kind of scary today, you know, pal. There is no need for that kind of attitude in my court. Alright, just please stop glaring at me like that. Man, sometimes even Phoenix can scare the judge. That's good to know. That's good to know. Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? Is it covered in blood, though, actually? Lab results show that it was the victim's blood. There was blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Did you glean from the piece of evidence? Well... If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on. No, fuck off. Elaborate. The logic of fuck you. The logic of fuck you is not irrefutable, Judge. Are you out of your fucking mind? Is there anything else you want to tell us about the costume? Sure. No! Objection! No, actually! That's not an objection. You can't do that. Fuck off, Judge! Your Honor! Actually, there is something right wrong with this piece of evidence. What are you talking about, pal? You're talking about this far. There's no turning back now. What I have with this piece of evidence is here. There's a hole in it! Literal hole! So please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. There's a tiny hole here. A hole? But wasn't that wasn't in the report. It's around the hole. It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me! Oh, that smells of gunpowder. There we go. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that this must be a bullet hole. This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else. Press the check button for details. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with the testimony that just now was a fluke, nothing more. Objection! How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then... Detective Gumshoe, please continue your testimony. I love Franziska von Karma. She's great. I think she's one of my favorites of the series, prosecutor-wise. The person without doubt was not fighting back. Now, elaborate on this, please. He wasn't fighting back. How do you know if he was or wasn't? No evidence that the victim put up any sort of struggle, pal. Did the murder have a fight with the victim or not? And on this, the circumstances around the murder changed drastically. Does the fact that she was... Yeah, the fact that she was shot implies that there could have been a fight? Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me my full name is kind of a weird feeling. Pal. Klein killed a person who's without doubt not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlook supposed to mean? What does it... Yeah, what does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? Ah! You're right. It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. Ha! Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Miss Von Karma? It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea. But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defendant clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty. Now that you... Why, that's right! Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all! Oh yes, that's true. Isn't she adorable? Isn't she adorable? Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. They have only proven their incompetence, exactly. Huh? How so? Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course. Can you put together the scenario all by myself? Ah! Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Yes, tell the people what you saw, Gumshoe. It's your fucking job. Do it. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot. Because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. Your put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright? I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please. Phoenix is very intense today. I don't know if Gumshoe has a salary anymore. He might have been cut. He might have been cut so bad that he doesn't have a salary anymore. I don't actually know what Gumshoe's making, if anything at all. That's a good question. I genuinely don't know. But probably not. He probably needs to have roommates. Probably lives like a four roommate house. Elaborate. There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant, and in body strength, and it seemed likely the defendant could have stabbed the victim. Not to mention it, yeah, I guess. Objection! You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning? Is the Phoenix right? My FA was in the middle of a channeling, was she not? When channeling with the Korean channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. She even set up on the Korean channeling technique. Like I said before, I am perfect. About what you were talking about, I don't quite get it. Never mind. Let's go on. Poor judge. Utterly baffled by everything whatsoever. So he was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him. If you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad. How badly hurt would you say he was, Detective Gumshoe? Actually, I went to give blood the other day. And afterwards, I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Ah! Sorry. That was utterly useless, Gumshoe. Thank you for fucking off. You were fighting the victim took out his gun. Where in the world did that pistol come from? Looks like the victim, Dr. Gray, had specifically brought it for that day. But a handgun? He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder. Why did he bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something? Took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. You're saying that the bullet hole in his costume was made then. Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when his shot was fired. Maya has never fired a gun before in her life. I do not know how Gumshoe got the black market records, but we will assume that he was given to them by his dealer. Victim had already taken off the safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you could fire it just by pulling the trigger. Maggie, of course. Now do you understand? Von Karma's logic is perfect. Okay, that's not the evidence. Alright, now let's look at the evidence we have. I picked up the opening. The victim's gun and ended it. Fruit knife belongs to Faye's, Barry's nice fingerprints. Huh, okay. Then we were fighting that took out his gun. They were too close. He missed. I mean, he did hit the costume. Prosecution's undoing. Eh? What do you mean? The hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume? We just went over this. This is what you testified earlier. If something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! Oh, I am a dipshit! But there is no gunpowder burn on this costume. Oh, you're right, Phoenix. I am stupid. It turns out I wasn't just stupid, I was very stupid. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when a shot is fired, they were standing apart from each other.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away. I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that?
Objection!
As if that was even possible. According to the testimony, the wound with stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. We got her shaken. We got her shaken. That was a blow. Well, then... That's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took a shot. There, that should satisfy even you. That should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Something doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Very interesting. I would love to see what this fatal flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. It's about to strike. Doctor took his shots. Let's try the screen. Evidence that destroys your logic. The hole in the screen. What is that? A folding screen? I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah! It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Who? Where? What, pal? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through a height at approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means... when the shot was fired, Maya, I mean the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. This changes everything! Look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hits this folding screen. Hits at this location, 8 inches off the ground. This time the defendant was in this area.
Take that!
Around here. I want you to make things...
Take that!
I got nothing. It wasn't point blank.
Take that!
I got nothing.
Take that!
Here. Behind the folding screen? The victim and his attacker were fighting, were they not? Then what would the attacker be doing all the way back there? The attacker wasn't behind the folding screen. How could the victim even know where to shoot? It'd be obviously impossible. Yeah, I guess so. Mr. Wright. I am utterly lost.
Take that!
Like, where the fuck is she? Has to be somewhere between here and the shot. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, whatever. nice if the fucking wiki actually put something out that was useful. Okay.
Take that!
Why? Okay. Sure. Sure. I definitely was in that area, so fuck off, I guess. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Is it possible the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You of all people should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If you were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort found around the bullet hole of this costume. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright, you! I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing away from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? It changes everything. Prosecution has claimed the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering a final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Without proving the logic behind everything is your job! Oof! With this, the rest of the trial should be... blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Detective! How dare you damage my perfect logic? How is it all my fault, pal? You can start repairing your standing by first removing that strand goatee. Oh, and rest assurance, your punishment will come later. Punishment? Ooh, some people would be envious of Gumshoe right now. I'm not one of those people, but I know they exist. Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call on the next witness. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. The judge is one of those people, 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.